Good afternoon, everyone that's joining us for today's Energy Management Fundamentals webinar. We have just clicked over to 3:30, and I can see attendees now filtering in right on time. So thank you very much for those that are jumping online. I think I will get things kicked off because we do have a lot of really awesome information to share with you all today. And as we do get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I am joining you all from today. I'm on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I'd like to pay my deep respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and also extend that respect and acknowledgement to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that are logging on for this call or perhaps listening later. My name is Sage Michaels. I am the Head of Partnerships at the Energy Efficiency Council, and I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, James.
Hi everyone, I'm James. I'm with the Workforce Development team.
So really happy to be joined by James, whose team has been leading on the development of this really exciting program that we will be sharing more information with you about today. Some of you may be joining this call and may not be too familiar with who the Energy Efficiency Council is. So we are the peak body for energy product and service providers with a particular focus on the demand side of the energy system. We love all things energy efficiency, electrification, demand flexibility, decarbonisation of our buildings, and that's across all different kinds of building types. And we also have a particular love of kind of cross-cutting areas like net zero strategy and the like. And so really excited to be sharing what we think is a really powerful mechanism to build the capacity and literacy of pretty much everyone across Australia when it comes to energy management. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about today. So as we get started, a little bit of housekeeping very quickly. We are recording today's webinar, and that's so that anyone that maybe misses out will be able to share this information with them. But we have disabled video cameras for attendees, so you don't have to worry too much about your face being on camera. If any questions do come up for you today, you are absolutely welcome to ask them through the Q&A function. We may or may not be able to get to all questions, but we will endeavour to do that today. Otherwise, we can take them on notice and reach out to you individually or collectively as well. We will be sharing information about the program as well at the conclusion of today. So you'll hear much more from us. And of course, this program is live, so you can jump onto the website as we have a look. So let's dive straight in, shall we? Thank you very much, James. So the Energy Management Fundamentals program is a 21 collection of online modules that we developed after identifying a gap really in the knowledge and literacy across our workforce when it came to foundational level of knowledge of everything kind of in the demand side space. And that includes energy efficiency, electrification, and load shifting. We know that for customers, whether that be businesses or households and consumers, are after trusted and clear advice, and that the energy system in Australia is quite complicated. So what is motivating people to access advice and take certain decisions in the energy management system can be very different. It could be about lowering costs, both for them as consumers in their houses and their energy bills, but also in businesses, procuring types of services and products that businesses need to do their work. It could be about lowering emissions, which we know is absolutely integral as part of the energy transition and Australia's net zero targets. as well as obviously mandatory requirements or the setting of quality and standards for the workforce. We know that customers are turning to trusted roles that they might already have. So those key relationships, and many of you, as providers of products and services, as tradespeople, as advisors, are playing that trusted role. So we know that this program, in its application of a foundational level of knowledge, can really apply to quite a broad array of audiences. And we have identified some of the key target audiences for this program as being really grouped into two sets. And we'll go there now as well. Thank you, James. So the Energy Management Fundamental Program, we're thinking about in two different ways. There's the onboarding of your existing and incoming staff. So this is particularly oriented to opportunities for graduates, people that are coming out of university or vocational training or other training programs. That have obviously got really, really comprehensive technical knowledge, but may not have some of the other skills and understanding that can complement their work. And then, of course, there's new entrants into the industry that may not have an energy background. And James and myself are prime examples of this target segment. We are two people that have studied and have worked in complementary fields that started at the EEC and really benefited from the types of basic guidance that I suppose James got to do by way of developing this program. But also for myself, since starting, getting to pilot and learn. They're pitched at us perfectly because it's complementary to our work and helps us to understand the environment that we're working within. The other key area is professional development, and that's of existing staff. So if you all think about the types of work that you deliver, and that might be directly to customers in energy efficiency, electrification, decarbonisation, demand flexibility, but there are also other business functions that, aid and support the work that your business does. And understanding the why, like why do you do what you do? What is the impact that you make? That links to, motivating your team, making feel like they're part of something. And so this program can be really beneficial for people that might work in finance or people that might work in HR and operational like roles. Because it complements and it extends, I suppose, the orientation of the spaces that your businesses work within. The other key area, obviously, is around advocacy and customer-facing roles. So anyone that is working directly with those customers, as I was talking about before, that are really after solid, trusted advice, being able to engage with them in a way that meets them where they're at. And let's face it, that's foundational. In some cases, maybe nothing when it comes to an understanding of energy efficiency and energy management and the like. So being able to talk directly to them using language that is simple and clear is really, really important, and ultimately helps, your business both to provide good outcomes for your customers, but also sustain and hopefully grow the quality of the business that you're delivering as well. So we've thought about the program and we have bucketed it within two areas. It starts with the introduction to energy management fundamentals. And we thought that this specific module was so integral that we would make it available for free. So you can go right now and have a look on the website and do this module, which really encompasses an overview of the critical role of energy management in Australia's energy transition. We then have two separate pathways. We've got the business energy fundamentals, and that includes 14 modules that cover a really wide array of topics that are relevant to this space. And we'll talk about them specifically in a moment. And what we know is that for each of them, they'll kind of link in potentially to your business in various ways. So that ability to kind of be thinking about how to optimize or choose which modules to do is a really good thing to be thinking about. We also have the home energy fundamentals, and that's inclusive of 6 modules that cover topics relevant to the home. So things around energy efficiency, electrification, thermal performance, and the like. And each of the modules have been developed by independent experts. We've had input from government, from industry, from universities. And what we've developed, and James is going to give you an excellent demo very shortly, is really targeted at being accessible, easy to follow, interactive. It aligns with, adult learning methods, and is really an on-ramp into energy management. Thank you very much, James. So I'll just dive a bit deeper into each of those kind of 2 pathways. And as you'll see, there's probably different ways that they might be relevant to you and your businesses. But then there's some overarching core topics that we think will be really, really relevant across the board. So we have strategy and planning here, and this speaks to some of the areas that may not be covered in formal technical training. So how do you make the case for energy management? So this speaks to the business case and really developing the mechanisms to drive the types of decision making, both at the governance and the management level that we know companies and businesses need to be making. There's the strategy and management systems link. So really articulating that strategic perspective around and how energy management plugs into that. We've got the engaging and influencing, and this speaks to the softer skills that are required. And that might be about how you engage with customers to help them and aid them. And there's a bit of influencing that has to go on, because in many cases, those conversations, you're starting from positions that, people may not necessarily trust what you're trying to sell and advise them. And then there's also energy procurement. And we know that that can be quite overwhelming in some cases. So really trying to simplify and explore the mechanisms that businesses and households can think about procuring their energy. The next space is a bit more of a zoom out and a macro systems perspective. So this is thinking about the Australian energy markets, energy demand flexibility, and distributed energy resources. And these, in some cases, might sound like quite complex subjects, but they are really, really relevant to the functions of Australia's energy system, as well as to the ways that businesses can leverage opportunities as we proceed through the energy transition. So being able to understand that kind of macro systems level and the opportunities that are there in front of the meter can then help businesses when they're thinking about their decisions behind the meter, which is obviously where the EEC likes to play. From a kind of tactical level, we go into assessment, auditing, and reporting. So we do touch on energy auditing, energy management data and analytics, the neighbours energy ratings, and then energy emissions and reporting. And that kind of reflects, some of the mechanisms around getting the data, understanding how you're using it, and using that information to then make business-related decisions. And then the 4th kind of collection of topics is in the implementation. So the actual, actions and steps that businesses can take, whether that be around commercial building energy optimization, the types of technologies that plug in to make, efficiency, electrification, energy productivity improvements. And then, of course, the finance options. And we know that that is absolutely integral to certain levels of decisions that need to be made, balancing capital expenditure, operating expenditure, the asset life cycle replacement, and that kind of thing. So Our Business Energy Fundamentals program is a really core collection. What I would say is this is a starting point. So we're excited about being able to release this program and potentially work with you all, our members and our stakeholders across the industry to really grow the topics based on where there might be identified gaps to extend the types of foundational knowledge we need. So we might move on now to home energy fundamentals. So many of our business members at the EEC work within this space as well. And I suppose the bent, while being a bit different from a customer orientation, is very much the same. We are still trying to engage with people around why these types of home energy upgrades matter, and talking about finance options as well here. And we know that in the cost of living crisis, these types of considerations are even more important. We have a module on home energy assessments and then the types of efficiency and electrification opportunities that might exist, along with optimization there on the right. And then we also have a topic on thermal performance of homes, and the EEC is obviously, really involved in the insulation space, and so really looking to engage with households on the opportunities that exist there to improve the thermal performance, as being really, really important. So I am now, with the kind of background information and topics out of the way, I'll hand over to James, who is going to talk you through in a bit more detail around what the modules contain, as well as giving you a look at them themselves. So thanks, James.
Thank you, Sage. So I'm going to go through a demo with you. Each of the 21 modules have a series of learning videos. They start with the introduction videos. They set the scene, providing the context and importance of the module in relation to energy management, as well as providing an overview of the topics the user will be learning about. Then each module has anywhere between 4 to 7 content videos, and they range from 2 to 9 minutes in length, depending on the module. Then finally, the learning set has a summary module. Throughout the demo and throughout each module, activities are dotted around to reaffirm learning throughout the module. So we have quizzes that task learners to recall content from the previous video, while exercises prompt learners to apply concepts in different ways. That makes up the core of the learning content. Upon completion, you will get a certificate of completion, and there are also additional resources available for the learner to go through in their own time. It's a downloadable document. So it includes further learning material, like useful links and useful tools. It also has training opportunities that are available. So inside certified training, as well as career opportunities where applicable. So I'm going to take you through the Making the Case for Energy Management module. Each module is around 45 to 90 minutes in length, and the certificate of completion will give you the 90 minutes of continual professional development, CPD points. Let me take you through. This will be the landing page. You can click continue, and you'll be taken through to the course player. So as you can see, we have the introduction, we have our learning content videos, and then interspersed are some exercises. So I will skip to the exercise. So the exercise, as I mentioned, are to apply concepts from the videos. And these require a little bit of critical thinking. So in this particular exercise, we have a case study. And this is a case study of industry best practice that we have identified. So the users to read through, and then there are follow-up questions as well to try and draw upon their reading. Just keep in mind that every exercise is slightly different. Some will take you out to a website, some will give you a graph. So they're all quite varied and engaging. So I'm gonna just tick through these at random, just so I can show you what the next screen looks like. So you'll be taken to a feedback screen. So I've got 1 out of 5. And here it will tell you your answer and feedback on what the answer was, or it could potentially include further details that are relevant to that answer. So in this one that I got correct, it will show me correct. From here, easy to navigate, we can continue and that will proceed on to the next video. And then we have quizzes. And the quizzes, as I mentioned, reinforce the learning from the previous video. So I'm sure if I was to go through here at random again, 3 out of 4, much better this time. So you can see how the feedback for correct answers will vary to give extra context depending on the answer. Upon completion, there is a course review quiz, and this pulls in questions and multiple concepts into one to get the user to think a little bit deeper. So I'll go through and answer. As you can see, there are a mixture of multiple choice, true or false questions, as well as mix and match questions. So here, again, we have the feedback page on if the answer is correct or not, and what the answer is in additional context. And then when we go down to the bottom, we have a finish module button. So this takes them out to an optional questionnaire, which gives quite useful feedback on their learning experience. And this way we can aggregate and improve the content going over time. And at the end, we have a certificate of completion, which will look like this. So it has the name of the module, their confirmation that they've completed it, the date, and their CPD credits. From here, they can also access the additional resources document, providing further learning material. Career opportunities, and in some cases, there'll also be training opportunities if any have been identified or are relevant. This is a downloadable document as well, so you can also jump up here to download, and that will save it to your computer. And finally, that's just one module. But if we go to this last button, the Explore EMF modules, users will be taken out to the course catalog page. And when they are enrolled in all 21 modules, these enroll buttons will change to continue. So they'll be able to jump into their next activity, or they're able to jump to it from their My account, their profile, and they can see their available courses here.
And I suppose that's a like nice thing to point out here, James. Like people, you can leave, obviously, it's beauty of the online LMS kind of approach. So you can come back, you can track that progress and see where you might be up to, sign up for other courses if they then interest you, when that all sits within this consolidated experience for users.
Yes, it's the great option of having a self-paced online learning portal, especially with the videos being broken up into manageable bite-sized chunks. They can come and go to it as they please.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is what the inside of each module looks like. It's a very standard for across the all 21 modules, from the learning videos, the activities, to video completion. There is variation, obviously, in the content, as well as with the quizzes and the exercises
Mm. Thank you very much for that,
page.
James. Yeah. So In terms of what might be available for your various organizations, and we have pitched this, I suppose, for this presentation, thinking about your businesses and the types of subscriptions that might be available for more than one user. There are a number of different options that we are making available. There are team subscriptions, and so these are designed to provide quick, cost-effective way of accessing the full energy management fundamentals suite of programs. James, I think we've got the team. Yes, nice, thank you. So under this, we have learners can access the training modules from the learning platform. There's 12 months of access under the approach. And again, as James said, like each time it's completed, you get a new certificate. It's all sitting there within, the one program. We then have a corporate level of subscription, and that includes all of the benefits within the team benefit. But at this level, there's also a monthly report on learner progress that gets sent to a centralized inbox. And that's, I suppose, really taking that kind of professional development view of for managers, particularly kind of seeing how your teams might be engaging, might be using it, able to then, embed their learning outcomes in your management conversations with them, see what they're learning new, see how it might apply to their jobs in different ways and help them, to reach more impact and drive more business growth. So within that corporate subscription as well, you can then have the option to upgrade to the enterprise benefits. And in that enterprise benefit, we have a learning portal that can be branded with your organization's branding. There's a dashboard level of access. So beyond getting the monthly report, you actually get access to a login that has all of that data live and available to you at any time. And also supports internal user management. So that's really pitched at the large organizations that might have, quite a number of people potentially that could benefit from this program, and that ability to self-manage. Within the enterprise option, we also have up to 8 hours of one-on-one support. And that's really taking account of the fact that people are at various points in their own digital learning journey. They might want to engage or learn how to use this tool. And we want to make that experience as easy and accessible for them as possible. So that's really where we're trying to orient to being available to anyone under that enterprise option as well. I suppose the way that we're thinking about the enterprise option is it becomes a bespoke learning platform for your organization. And so you get to kind of take some of that carriage of it as a really quality product and showcasing to your teams as well that you're really orienting towards improving their own learning and foundational journey. And I think collectively for us all as an industry, the more people that we get doing this program, the more consistent the language will be, the more that we, have that shared literacy that we're all using out there. So when, consumers and customers are talking to us about being confused and lacking clarity, some of that might then be addressed because we are, speaking from the same songbook that is included. I think, James, you were going to now just dive a little bit deeper into the enterprise option for everyone.
Yep. So with the enterprise subscriptions, they are customizable for your organization's needs, and they include the ability to use your organization's branding throughout the learning platform. This is useful if when you're incorporating the Energy Management Fundamentals program into your organization's official onboarding or continual professional development process, as it may help reinforce compliance. You also have user management options. So it's important to note here that we will be able to help with internal bulk upload of learners on our end, but with the enterprise, you actually get that ability to do it yourself as well as learning, adding learners ad hoc as a one-to-one basis. The reporting functionality is a bit more robust as well. You're able to automate and schedule reporting for your needs. So this includes user progress and user activity. So user progress is how they're progressing throughout modules, what's their completion rate, how long is it taking them, do they have the certificate of completion or not? And then there's activity as well. So how often are they logging in? You also have your subscription status to see how many learner profiles you still have. And that 8 hours of one-to-one technical support, that includes your onboarding with your champion. So for larger organizations, it'd be quite difficult to have, 20 or more employees on there. So it's a great idea to have a champion who's really bringing energy management fundamentals into the organization. And that allows you to set up the branding on the platform. It includes walkthroughs on how to actually upload users and manage your users and run those reports. So this is an example of what the backend dashboard looks like that you would have access to. And so here you can see the fields in which you can customize your reports. So you can select by course or score, whether it's completed. You can also associate tags as well. And you can then track user by user. What's their total study time? So if there's any requirement internally on how long someone's to study for part of their professional development, their progress through completing courses and whether they've incompleted courses, and if they've actually claimed their certificate as well, so they have that proof of completion. So that's the enterprise benefits that would be available for the enterprise subscriptions and optional upgrade for the corporate subscription.
Thank
Sage.
you. Thanks very much for that, James. So, in terms of pricing, what's available under the different subscription models, we've really tried to orient to different tiers that are reflective of what we know, our different member organizations and industry might need to be able to access this program. So in the kind of smaller realms for teams, we've got a small team subscription that allows up to 3 learner profiles, remembering that this is 12 months worth of access to 21 modules. We also have large team, which is up to 10 learner profiles, and EEC members get 20% off of this pricing identified onto the screen. At the corporate level, and this is where we were talking about some of those additional benefits, so a monthly report that's provided, and then the ability to potentially upgrade to enterprise, that's up to 20 learner profiles for 12 months. And then, at the enterprise level, it's very much a tailored solution. So we'd like to work directly with anyone that might be interested in that level to really craft the experience, and all of those additional benefits that James just walked you through. In terms of what next steps might look like for all of you, you can go and have a test drive right now and go and try out the Introduction to Energy Management Fundamentals. You can use the QR code there. You'll also get a link when we share this with everybody, post the webinar. So go and have a look and, really, I suppose, test the quality for yourselves. But we are very, very sure, having gone through an extensive pilot phase ourselves across industry, that, this is really plugging a pretty integral need. You can also subscribe. So we have the subscription options available on the LearnWorld's EMS site now. And so you can sign up at any of those team options and the corporate subscription option online. But in the event that you're thinking that this could be applied in your organizations in a much bigger way, you can also just reach out to the team. And that's, again, using this QR code or emailing training@eec.org.au. And we can talk about what that bespoke enterprise option would then look like for you. So Yeah, we're excited. I do know we have had a few questions come in, James, and I might just go through them now for everyone on the call that may be able to or not be able to see in the Q&A. I can't remember how Zoom works, but we had a question around whether or not the program is strictly for Australia. Carla, our wonderful head of workforce development, has been lingering in the background and has already answered this question, which is basically that the program does focus on the Australian context, but many of the concepts are foundational and so can really easily be applied to other contexts as well. That might be relevant for any of your businesses that are working internationally. We know that everything demand side and the opportunities that might exist across the globe need to be talked about as well. So, yes, still very applicable, even though the content does focus a bit more on the Australian context. We also have a question here from the certified energy manager perspective. What would be the added value of this module or course? I suppose one of the things, I suggested, and James, feel free to jump in when I'm done with this, but
Yeah.
one of the things we are thinking about is, anyone that is delivering a service and providing advice, it's useful for you to undertake this program because it's pitched at the foundational level, and that's probably where many of your customers are in terms of their own journey. So understanding, the how the shoes fit, I suppose, for them. But also, your customers would benefit from this program. They are businesses as well. And so thinking about from that perspective, that orientation to having, you could be engaging with an asset manager, you could be engaging with a facilities manager that's trying to grapple with, how do I procure services, how do I conduct an energy audit, who do I speak to, like some of those basic questions that they're exploring, that they're engaging with you as a certified energy manager on. It's useful for them to do this program as well. So you can be out there kind of flagging that this program exists and that it would probably be beneficial for them to undertake it as well. James, is there anything else that comes to mind for you for the certified energy managers?
Yeah, I would add that with certified energy management and any other established certification for people already in the industry, there'll be a degree of knowledge that you will have that will exceed what is on offer in energy management fundamentals. Where the use is, though, is that each module can actually be purchased individually. So if there are potential gaps in your knowledge that you think may exist,
Mm.
and you want a cursory understanding, you can go in and access those individually as well.
So true. Yeah, because it's a broad program. We've got a lot of topics and there will be more to come. So if for anyone on this call or listening to the recording later, you're going, I would actually love to see a topic on XYZ, do reach out and let us know because yeah, we're really excited about the growth and the opportunity from this program. We did have a question as well about accessing the free intro module, and I believe you might have included that in the chat somewhere with the link, James.
Yes, I have. That's up there.
Excellent. So yes, you can access the intro module by completing the and following the link that James has shared with you all.
I can also go
And
back to the overview if anyone wants to scan any of the codes to access the various
yes,
websites.
yeah, thank you very much for that. So that is all the questions that we have received so far. Happy learning, I suppose. Happy engaging, happy becoming, an energy management enthusiast. And yeah, we really look forward to, I suppose, seeing this program's usage across the industry and, more broadly, because we do need really to be engaging across the energy system on the opportunities that exist on the demand side. So if you do have any further questions at any point, definitely reach out. But otherwise, we will maybe leave this webinar there and speak to you all again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.